Hey there viewers, welcome back to another episode of Ray of All Trades. Today we are working on a no start for a Bobcat zero turn. The process and procedures we're going to test today will hold true for most riding mowers and for a lot more items than that too. But come along for a diagnosis. Okay, I've got a jump pack set up on this battery because the battery is a little bit weak. There's such a hammer down near the solenoid. See if you guys can pick up on the clicking noise. So I turn the key. So that's the noise you hear when your solenoid is engaging. So normally you'd only hear the starter engaging, but that solenoid is actually doing that same job. So the easiest way to do this, you can do this with a voltmeter, but I prefer a test light. Go to ground on your, hook up a ground on your battery for the test light, and if you have 12 volts across the line, you get a light like that, right? So, following this positive cable all the way up, chase it over here to this solenoid. This right here is the cable coming from the solenoid. So if I touch this side, I should get a light. Okay? So the other side of the solenoid will only be energized when the key switch turns on. So there are two wires controlling the solenoid. So if I probe one of the wires, and the key switch is not turning that wire on, so when I'm probing that the white wire going to that solenoid and I turn the key switch on, I get a light on that side. This side is my ground. So if I hooked up here, the test light between this post and positive, and positive, my light would come on because this is at ground potential. So this wire, if that solenoid is doing what it's supposed to be doing, I should have 12 volts on this side of the connector. You see I've got 12 volts on that side. Let me try to go to that side. And you see I've got no lights. The other thing, see, I've got signal on that side, no signal on the other side. That wire comes up from here and goes to the starter. I could also go straight to the starter right here and look for signal there. I'm not going to have it because I don't have any signal going to it. But that's the quick way to tell what's giving you the problem. Is it your solenoid, which is a common failure part, or is it the starter? So if I hooked up that jump box to that starter, see, no light. If I hook up the jump box to that starter, then it would immediately fire up. So I can tell you that because that's how I got the mower over here. So the solenoid is bad. So we're going to be taking this solenoid off of here. The solenoid doesn't matter. One side is battery, the other side is supply. Doesn't matter which one's which. And then on this one, it's a 4-post, so we have a ground on one side and a hot on the other side. If it's only got one wire, then it's hot on that side and it uses the body as the ground. Starter solenoid, double pole, terminal ground, for both 5/16 and 1/4 inch terminal connectors, made in China, part number 435435. It's a Sten's part. These are kind of universal. The way this one's set, one will be a hot, one will be a ground, and it doesn't matter which one's which. One of them is going to be a battery, and the other one's going to be starter. And again, it doesn't matter which one's which, because whenever these two get power, it connects these two internally, and it makes it like a piece of wire. So just make sure that it is a 12 volt solenoid. So let's get this installed. Okay, we started by taking off the jump pack off of here. Let's disconnect the battery. And use a 10mm swivel. 10mm swivel. do is take off these 2 wires, put them on the other 2. Like I said, polarity doesn't matter. So small ones going to small ones, large ones going to large ones. Again, polarity doesn't matter. When you get power and ground to these 2, it connects these 2 internally and supplies battery power over to your starter. So let me free up my hand so I can get those connectors off because they're stuck. So that's the 2 control wires for the solenoid. And then there's one other hot wire in here that I didn't anticipate. So let's see if we can get this, at least that one off. I think I just did all that without the camera rolling. Alright, so the solenoid's in. 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here. The ignition, so one side's ground, one side's ignition. The starter cable goes right here. Tighten it up, snug it up, but don't tighten them over tight. They're attached by a wire. Then I attached the battery cable, and I'm hoping that you guys saw the first start of this, but if not, I'll go ahead and show you again. So that's it. Symptoms of a no start. You hear a clunking noise and it won't turn over. It's either going to be the starter or it's going to be that solenoid. Solenoids are the most common problem. Starters obviously second most. Probably the most common problem is going to be bad connections. So, but you can use a voltmeter to kind of tell what's going on. If you guys got something out of the video, really appreciate a thumbs up, subscribe, like, helps the channel tremendously. And got more videos coming up on this machine. It needs an ignition switch. It needs some belts. Probably needs some blades, and it needs to be cleaned. It needs to be cleaned. So I don't like leaving all that debris in there. I just wanted to get it started so I could drive it over to a spot where I can get it all cleaned out. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.